Hey, real quick, just a reminder to subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. Also, we're doing a live show in Atlanta, December 2nd, the Friday night before the SEC Championship game, solidverballive.com. Link down there for tickets.
12 o'clock, high noon on Fox. It's an Ohio State game, so I'm assuming Gus and Joel Klatt will be there. They always are.
Of course.
Michigan at Ohio State. Ohio State minus 7.5. They call this one the game. Michigan leads the all-time series 59, 51, and 6. They, of course, won the game last season 42-27. It was a big deal. It ran for nearly 300 yards. Clearly, it was the one thing Jim Harbaugh needed to do to seal his place in Michigan lore, and he did it. So,
and then
here we are
leave.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then tried to leave. Here we are a year later. And I wonder how much, if anything, has changed. It feels to me like the Michigan game plan will be all but the same as it was a year ago. They've, of course, got a different quarterback. Not with Hassan Haskins this year, but Blake Corum has been carrying the load. It seems, by the way, like he's going to be okay. There were clips that circulated throughout social media that Blake Corum was out on Sunday walking about town, apparently using his NIL money for the second straight year to give away 300 turkeys.
Damn.
For Thanksgiving,
Awesome.
Which, like, how can you root against a guy?
Yeah.
You can't root against him. He's obviously doing good out there in the community. So good for him, and I'm glad to hear that his knee is sound. He said it's fine. Jim Harbaugh said that there is no structural damage. Obviously, all of that is very, very good news.
You know what I wouldn't be doing with a hurt knee, Ty? Delivering giant frozen turkeys. So it's probably okay. It's probably beat up. It's probably bruised. It's probably sore. But if it's good enough to do that, I say as an equally elite athlete as Blake Corum, he'll be all right, I think.
Got to work on that ball security, man.
Yes.
Got to hold that turkey tight. I'm 1,000% on Michigan here, plus the points.
Man, okay.
I'm 1,000% on Michigan plus the points. And I say that still as the biggest Ohio State apologist this side of Columbus. 7.5 points, knowing the exact style of play that Michigan is going to bring into this matchup seems like a great, seems awful. Seems like a great opportunity to go on Michigan here plus the points. Ohio State could still end up winning, but I don't feel like that defense is shut down enough to stop all of what I think Michigan wants to do on the ground. So I see this being slow and a grind, and Michigan being good enough to maybe confuse CJ Stroud in spots, to curtail some of that passing offense in spots, and turn this one into ground and pound and ugly and probably a close loss. But 7.5, way too many for me.
Interestingly, this is a matchup of, if I'm reading this correctly, Ty, the two best defenses in terms of scoring efficiency defenses in the country. Michigan being number 1 and Ohio State being number 2, because my thought going into it was I lean in the direction, I tip in the direction of Michigan because I love their defense. Ohio State has done an almost equally terrific job of keeping teams down on defense. Now, they both come in wobbling a bit from last week. Michigan in their second half performance on offense. Shout out Jake Moody. It's kicker's paradise, that Michigan offense. And Ohio State, of course, in the way that they gave up some exceptional passes and scoring drives from Maryland and Talia. I think Talia Tagovailoa is a more dangerous quarterback in big games this year than J.J. McCarthy. Is that fair to say?
Oh, it's totally fair to say.
If I had to, play out this game 1,000 times, who do I trust to get to 300 yards through the air more, or 10 yards per attempt more? It's probably Talia. There's a fearlessness to him and just seasoning to him that I don't think we see from J.J. McCarthy, at least not yet. I think there is something about Michigan's ability to impose its manner and impose its preferred style, that if styles make fights, I think this is probably going to be closer to a Michigan preferred type game than an Ohio State preferred type game. So I'm taking Michigan. I'm taking Michigan because of the imposition. I think Ohio State wins. I think they win late, and they're the ones with the field goal, or they're the ones with that last second comeback down 4 with 93 seconds left or something. But I think this Michigan defense is too good. Once again, that line is what, 7.5? Is that what you said?
7.5 points. Yeah.
7.5? No,
Yeah.
I think it's extremely tight in Columbus, and the defense, I just can't pick against this Michigan defense to lose by nearly double digits or even double digits. So I'm going Michigan here. I don't love the pick with the Blake Corum uncertainty because he has been so good wearing teams down and then busting that like random 51-yard run in the second half, which that's what they need sometimes on offense. So as the Michigan offense has slowed down, as Ohio State's beat up on their own offense, down running backs, JSN for a large chunk of the year, I'm going to go with the uglier potential for this game. So I'm going to take the points in Michigan.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Dan. I really do. I kind of went back and forth on this one, but 7.5 feels like a lot to me. And it doesn't feel like, obviously there are things that have changed.
Right.
It doesn't feel like things have changed that much that Michigan can suddenly has to change its approach to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can do to Ohio State what they've been doing to teams all year, which is push them around on the ground, try to get as much as they can on the ground with Blake Corum, whoever, and win games by grinding down defense. That's how they did it last year to some extent.
Right.
So I think they will have a degree of success doing it. I don't know if they win outright. I still favor Ohio State outright, but 7.5 to me is too much. That's just too much. I think this is close. I think this is a hell of a game. That's why they call it the game.
I think Michigan did the right thing turning to J.J. McCarthy because you should turn to a quarterback with what you perceive to be a higher ceiling. But if Michigan loses this game by 10, 13 points,
I know.
There is going to be something about Cade McNamara in his brain saying something, not out loud, but with his eyes on the sideline saying, interesting. Huh. Interesting. If memory serves,
yeah,
last year when I was the guy. Yeah, that's all.